Hey everybody, Steve from the Pinball Room. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today. It's an exciting day. It's Pinball Reveal Day. We don't get this a whole lot of times throughout the year, so it's fun when a new one comes out. And today, Spooky Pinballs put out a trailer for their pinball machine, Scooby Doo. It was announced a couple days ago, but now we finally get to look at it. We get to see the cabinet. We get to see the Playfield. We're going to dissect that. We're going to talk about the shots, some of the cool toys, and just different layout ideas they have. They've got an interesting locking mech in the Apron. I'm sure you've watched the trailer, but I want to dig into it more. We're going to dissect it. We've got some screenshots here, some close-ups of the Playfield. We're going to walk through all the different shots, see how they actually really are connecting, and see what we can dissect and really find out about this. There's a lot of things I'm liking, a couple of questions I have, so let's just dig into it. All right, so first thing I want to do is just go through and just watch the video again. I've watched it twice now. Let's go through and watch it a third time, see what else we can kind of pick out. It's only a minute long, and then we'll come back through and we'll start dissecting it. Now, very first thing you'll see here, the way this is, I just kind of freeze framed this at the very beginning. There on the left-hand side, that's an illuminated flipper button. Don't know if they called that out on their features at the end, but definitely has illuminated flipper buttons. Let's keep going. We're going to get some nice shots of the cabinet here at first with the artwork. I have to admit, I'm very pleased with the artwork. It is definitely, I mean, it's right out of the cartoon, the Playfield. Let's stop right there. You get a nice view of all these characters. You got all these inserts of like the different villains you're collecting. That's cool. It's totally on theme. Full RGB all the way throughout. I mean, this game looks really pretty. They talk about the 5 different colored habit trails here we have going on. So there's a lot of habit trails. They're all coated and painted a different color, which is fun. We've got over here on the right hand side, some lights and different decorations going on along by the shooter lane, up to that barrel toy that we'll see here in a minute. But good first impressions. The artwork so far is exactly what I expect when I think of Scooby Doo. Like, this is what I expect to see. So anyway, this is striking. This is hitting all those nostalgia chords for me. Get some nice green armor on the side. All right, so that right there, this is like our first look at these custom sculpted, molded, whatever you call them, toys. They look amazing. They look great. We've got either Scooby Doo or Little Scrappy Doo. I'm not sure which one here. In the little minecart racing down, we got the old guy behind him, or next to him there off to the side, you'll see the werewolf guy. They look good. They look super high quality. Great. Now, these were made by Back Alley Creations, it states in the credits. So they outsource this to people who do this for a living. They do it a lot more. That's awesome that they partnered up with them to make sure they had high quality sculpts. And there's a bunch of these throughout the game, which is really cool. Now, the topper looks like it's just a bunch of acrylic kind of layered and lit up, which is fun. It's a nice look. Nothing amazing. Doesn't look like anything interactive, but I'm not a topper king like Zach and other people, so I don't really care quite so much. Like, toppers are nice. I like them. Doesn't make them break it for me. All right, now we get into some actual gameplay. All right, now very first thing here we notice is that the launcher has that 180-degree turnabout, just like Jurassic Park has and lots of the other games, right? You got that 180-degree ramp, so it goes and immediately comes right back on you. But you also see here at the top, you see another habit trail, the purple coming down, and when we zoom out again on the Playfield, we'll see that there's another habit trail that comes down and actually joins and drops into this. So they're kind of making use of that two different ways, both for starting the ball and then also just returning from up above. Here's kind of our first shot of the Playfield. It's nice, it's wide open. We got some good shots here. Lots of inserts denoting what's going on. Good use of color everywhere. We got a couple of spinners. All right, there's the bookcase upper flipper diverter. Now this is interesting. When I thought diverter, when I first heard this before I watched the video, I saw a little thing saying, hey, there's a bookcase diverter. I was thinking of something a little bit different. This is an interesting use. If we rewind this and watch this again, watch it actually just move. So we got 2 flippers up here, right? And the left one, it is a flipper, but the whole entire flipper mech, the plastic, is just like an L shape, right? And so every time you flip that flipper, the left side is blocking off that alley on the left-hand side. So it looks like it's totally user-controlled. Now, it might be able to be taken over by software also, most likely. When you first pop up to the upper Playfield, it probably moves there automatically to make sure the ball doesn't just right away drain down that left-hand side where the footprints are, right? It opens up, catches the ball, and then it comes across, and then you do your shots on the upper Playfield. But that's interesting. So diverter, I was expecting something a little bit different, but I mean it's a diverter. It's diverting the ball from one path to another. It's great. It's interesting they worked it right in with the flipper. I like that. It's fresh thinking. It's something different. I don't know that I've ever seen it before. I'm sure it's in some pinball machine. I don't know them all, but it's different. I mean that's going to be one of your primary exits from the upper Playfield. Looks like, right? There's got to be something here in between the flippers. I don't know if they ever really show a shot of the ball going between. Oh, it looks like right here in this shot, the ball comes down, it's going to roll along the front of this wall here, and probably then join back into that habit trail on the left. That's what my bet is. Over here on the right, we've got rubbers and other things blocking it around behind this toy. We've got their big bash toy thing here at the top of the upper play field. The LED Captain Cutler bash toy, and it's got magna hands. And it took me a minute until like the second time that I watched and kind of rewound a couple times to see what they mean by magna hands. So they're moving, they're shaking, they're actuated. They're kind of, it's all kind of, shaken to bring it to life, which is cool. Almost looks like this is like glow-in-the-dark plastic, right? Again, Captain Cutler, he glowed in the dark, right? He glowed in the dark side. I like that. Did we show it right here? Nope. Here we show one of the shots. We'll come back to it, but we've got 3 different shots over here on the right primarily you can make, right? Airfield, Gold City Mine, the Black Knight. Looks like there's another one that probably just like returns and loops around for one of these other shots. Maybe Gold City Mine is definitely going to come over here where the guys are on the mine carts, right? Airfield looks like also maybe comes out to one of these. I wonder where Black Knight goes. Does that maybe just loop around and come right back around? There's a target here underneath or behind the werewolf toy. There's an insert here pointing at it. So that's something that can happen. Yeah, look, there's a post. The ball drifts down behind there. Let's keep going. So they're shooting airfield, and then they're showing 2 balls. This is probably a different sequence of shots, really, right? But they show 2 balls, one each coming down the 2 different habit trails. So is one, does Minefield go to one, or does the Gold City Mine go to one, and the airfield go to the other habit trail? I don't know. That's unclear. We'd have to play the game more and watch it. All right, but so they're not showing it right here. Let's fast forward. They show it again here in another spot. The magnets. They do show up top the magnets. I just can't really. Okay, in this play here. Here we're going to go back up top. Let's look at this a little bit again. All right, right there. You see that? So there's magnets clearly underneath this upper play field in front of each one of these targets, or at least in front of that left one that is, grabbing and messing around with the ball. So, okay, so there's the magnets. That's what we saw about the magnets. All right, let's continue down from the upper play field. That's fun. Magnets in the upper play field. Looks like they're just kind of playing with the ball. They're not, like in Twilight Zone. They're not, acting as flippers or anything else crazy. Okay, back down here, we've got this right orbit shot. So if you watch closely here, this shot to the right orbit comes right back around. You can barely see it coming out. Okay, so you see that? It looped and came right back around right there in right of this shot right here, just to the left of that spinner in between those 2 shots. So that's just a little horseshoe. It looks like it kind of goes back and forth for that orbit. So you don't really have a true full orbit going all the way around the play field, which is interesting. When we go through and start talking really about the number of shots this game has, that's kind of like one less, repeatable shot we have from both sides, it looks like. The next really interesting shot here, though, then is the multi-ball, where you go through and lock the ball underneath the van. I was hoping they'd do more with the van than instead of just having that toy right there. They do something interactive, but I mean, what are they going to do? Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles already had the van that loaded and spilled the balls out. Would they do the exact same thing? I can see they're not wanting to bother with copying that. What else would you do with the van, really, other than have it lock the balls and dump them out? So I'm not going to ding them too hard for that. They've got a really cool sculpted upper play field. All that stonework, everything all around, just looks really, really cool. It's not just like a piece of wood with some rubbers blocking the edge, right? Those of you who follow me in my homebrew project, that's all I got going on for my upper play field. Just some posts and some rubbers to hold things in. I don't have this cool sculpted wall forming things and really getting the theme going for that upper play field. So I give them props for that. It looks really sick. So going through and loading the members of the gang in the mystery machine for a 5-ball lock. Well, notice they go in there. We're not sure exactly where they get staged, but then if you saw right there, when they start the multi-ball, the ball is coming out from a vuck right back underneath these habit trails. You see the ball up and then drop down over this plastic wall, over the wall here, and come down. And we see 2 balls pop out there and do that. So they're going to go underneath into a staging area underneath. So a physical lock doesn't look like we're going to get to see those balls get stored anywhere. They're going to go down under the play field is my assumption, collected in front of a vuck. And once you've got them all, if you're not ready for multi-ball, it's probably just going to kick it right back out. Once you have everything collected, then it's going to start pumping out multiple balls from that vuck. We're seeing at least 2 here getting pumped out to start multi-ball. Mystery machine multi-ball, and they'll all come down along by your right flipper. Here's another shot that shows center ramp. And then, this one did not trigger the upper playfield diverter, so it went up and then came out and just right back down that left-hand alley. Down, was it the blue habit trail there? Anyway, came right back down. So there's times you can hit that center ramp and the upper playfield, I guess, isn't qualified, isn't ready for you, and so it's just going to come right back down that blue habit trail, right? Now, the other one here, so we've seen, what all habit trails have we seen so far? We've seen how the ball comes down the green one, Okay, that left ramp, the spinner just comes right back around to it. Center ramp can come to the blue one if the upper playfield isn't triggered. This kind of like maroonish, reddish one over here on the left-hand side. So that's one of the last things they have. The last things they have here that's kind of unique. So right here they have twin 3-bank drop target assemblies right here. They've got one right in front of the other, slightly staggered at a little bit of an angle here. You can see the one in front with its 3 inserts and the one behind it. And then just behind that, you see kind of that dark spot is a sinkhole for a buck where the ball can go, and then it'll get kicked up down this red habit trail, down this red habit trail back over here. And that goes to an interesting spot. The habit trail is on the very far outside. I think we're going to see that next. Comes out of the scoop, comes down, boom, gets locked in. They both do. And then here, I'll pause right there, dual apron locks. And we've got these flashers here on top of the apron. But look, you've got a ball here on each side, and you've got this little cradle. It comes down, has a little bit of an angle here, the metal. It holds it. And at the right time, these have these fun sculpted like wings on top, which I also like is not just the mechanical piece. They've got sculpted things on top. They're carrying this thematically through everything, which is really awesome. And then, I don't know the software exactly what qualifies it, but at the right time, both those balls are there. Then it gets, boom, they'll get kicked out. They bounce off each other, and they go right to both your flippers. That's neat. It's cool. Is it super complex or like, blows your mind? No, but it's fun. It's different. It's something else to watch the ball actually moving. Begs some questions, right? Like when you haven't qualified the lock and you make that shot, does it just come down? Does it immediately get kicked out onto your flipper? Most likely, if you only have the one, or maybe it's always just going to lock it and kick you out another ball from the shooter lane, and you'll keep going. I don't know. We'll have to see how the code integrates that. But assuming the code does a good job of integrating when and how those get used, it's a simple little mechanism there, just kind of twisting and kicking the balls back out. But I like it. For me, it's satisfying. But the other thing right there, they don't really show it like being used in gameplay, but they showed it straight, front and center right there. All right, so here we are. They've got a physical ball save. All right, they've got a drop target that's going to pop up, kind of again like reminiscent of older machines that would have like a big round target that would pop up and block the hole in front of your flipper so you can't lose the ball. This is interesting for me for a couple reasons. Like, one is just different, right? Okay, we don't see this very often, right? Usually it's all software controlled, right? The ball drains, and if if the ball save is flashing, I'm assuming the SD there, Scooby Snack in Scooby's collar will probably be the flashing light to let you know you've got a ball save coming. Or maybe it's just going to be that drop target is just going to be up all the time. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to implement it. But I say it's interesting because, yeah, the ones I'm familiar with that do a similar thing have a physical piece that comes up and blocks that hole. It's always a big round plastic that fills that whole gap. And the reason I think this is interesting, this is just simply a drop target, is because the drop target is flat. If you have one of these round targets that pop up, it comes up, and I'll draw this on the screen here. It comes up, and it has this natural arc. So if the ball hits, it's going to naturally roll to one side or the other. So it goes to the tip of your flipper, and then from there you'll be able to knock it out and keep it going. With it being a flat drop target that arguably is at the bottom edge of where the tip of those flippers come together, the ball gets there. I mean, it might roll one side or the other. Is it going to naturally, could it just sit right on the drop target and not go anywhere, and you're going to have to wiggle and get it to go to one of your flippers? Like I'm concerned about that. I would just wonder in practicality, like how much was that play tested? Is that really going to work the way they want it to? Maybe I'm definitely making a lot of assumptions here, so take all this with a grain of salt. I trust them. I'm assuming they've play tested this right. I haven't seen any huge miss like this before in their machines where something mechanically just doesn't really do at all what you would expect it to do. But I'm curious, like, how's that really going to work out? I'm sure it'll be fine. Another note of the drop targets, all their drop targets are translucent, and so they all get lit up by LEDs and can be controlled by the color, which I really like that effect. If you work it in with the modes and there's like some meaning behind it instead of just purely eye candy, I think it's really, really cool. Even just as eye candy, it's nice. But so anyway, yeah, so I'm curious about that physical ball lock, so or the ball save, right? And how well exactly that works out. I mean, it's going to leave a big enough gap that if you're not careful, you can have the ball save or you can have the drop target there to block the ball, but if your flipper's up, it could still maybe slide through, the gap, which is nice. I like that there's, you have to maybe kind of be careful with it. Yeah, let's see what else I got here in the credits. So we've got the double triple drop target bank. We got 16 injection molded sculpt. That's a lot. The apron locks, 2 metallic green ramps. We got 2 ramps, a bravery meter. I don't think we saw the bravery meter anywhere, did we? I wonder if that was on the inserts of the playfield. We'll have to look more closely for that. We can support up to 5-player gameplay instead of 4-player gameplay. So I'm curious how they're going to smash all that into the display and have it make sense. That's one of my big pet peeves. As a UI designer by trade, I feel like so many of the displays and everything are so cluttered, particularly Jersey Jack. I love you guys, but man, you guys have so much going on in your displays that I feel like it's hard to keep track and really know where I'm supposed to be looking, what's going on, where's my score versus how many balls do I have left versus what else I've gained. Anyway, so I'll be curious to see how Spooky does that and handles 5 different players' information being displayed on the screen. Under Playfield Secret Passage, is that just a really, really fancy way of saying a subway? That we've got a subway, and I don't know if we've really seen that, have we? Like we saw behind the drop targets, we saw the sinkhole for the scoop come right back up. I can't be that, right? And then we've got for the mystery bus, it goes under and basically goes straight down to, looks like a Vuctus stage. Is there some other secret passage they haven't shown in this gameplay yet that I'm not seeing? There's definitely room for it. Let's get into the actual playfield now. All right, so here's the playfield. And look at this upper playfield. The upper playfield is covering like almost 3/5. Technically it goes the entire width of the playfield up here. You can see under here, this wood edge here. We'll make this green. We got to be on theme here, Steve. Come on. This is green like their armor. This right here, technically is not really. I mean, it is physically, it's technically part of the upper playfield. Is that a part of you play on? No, I think the balls just come through these different shots over here. The ball comes through and then gets kicked over to these and then comes out and gets routed down onto one of these habit trails. Now we still can't really see underneath here. It's clear enough. In the video we saw the ball move under here, but like exactly where do each of these paths go? Are they, the mine and the airfield, are they each going to a different habit trail? Is there some sort of like little kinetic diverter that randomly determines which one they go down? Is it software controlled with something else up here, mechanically controlled which one? I can't see underneath here, so I'm not sure. And I'm really interested about the Black Knight. Where does he go? Does he also just kick out on one of these? Or does he loop right back around? There's also a little path right inside here that comes right back around. And so does he, kind of come around from behind and roll back out over here? I don't know. Be interesting to find out. But the upper playfield is big. Let me get rid of all those arrows. It's very big. We've got a couple of magnets here under each of these spots over here, or at least one. I'm assuming there's 2 magnets. We've got our diverter over here, which is fun. So that's kind of cool. So there's a center post here, but try to make it easier for you to keep the ball up top. But then eventually there's a one-way gate. The ball will come around and drain over here and head out onto the blue habit trail and come on down. One of the main things that I like to do is try to figure out, okay, what really are all the different shots? How many shots do we have? Where all do they go? So if we zoom in here for the lower playfield and start taking a look, we've got this right orbit, which we know and we saw comes right back through here. So this is kind of like a circular thing, right? And then what else have we got here? We've got another shot right here to the mystery bus to load up everybody, okay? And then we've got one, the primary ramp, okay? That's going to go right in here and go to the upper playfield, assuming you've qualified that. And then we also have one right here, and that is the one, shoot, where did that one go again? We saw it. Oh, that one loops right back around on the outside over here. All right, so I found it, had to go back through and watch, but it also is just a miniature horseshoe. All right, nothing fully goes all the way behind. They must have too much going on behind the upper playfield with mechs and things getting in the way. But if you hit this shot here, okay, it comes back out around over here. So these ones are just a loop back and forth, okay? A little horseshoe here is what that guy is. But so then you've got another shot, right? Up here, this ramp, which comes right down this green habit trail we talked about, right? And then we've got, the other direction on this guy here that comes up. And then as we know, he's going to loop back around to this guy over here, okay? These drop targets over here, the 2 bank, they go to the scoop hole, okay? And let's see, this over here, if we zoom in, this is just a set of rubbers kind of blocking the ball from getting stuck behind. No other shots there. I don't see any inserts or targets. I mean, this is all just behind the drop targets, right? Nothing more to hit. Up over here along this side, there is a slingshot here. There's a slingshot here, okay? And then we've got another kicker slingshot right over here. Okay, so this is something you can interact with. I can be kicking the ball around, so I like that. Extra little bit of chaos going on up here. Okay. Beyond that, though, we have all the targets going up to this orbit. Like, is there anything right in here to hit? I can't tell. I don't see any inserts that look like they're going to get lit up from it specifically, so this could just be another rubber is what I'm betting, like a guide to bring the ball down. We got the cool Scooby little like pop-up toy thing over here to the side of the shooter lane. That's fun. He'll interact with you, you know. But like, okay. But yeah, all that being said, then we've got, let me zoom out here. How many shots? Kind of lost this one that went up here the other direction of him. But so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've only got 8 lower playfield shots. Okay, hold on. Let's be fair. 9 if you count this this other slingshot over here on this side. So let's be nice and we'll say 9 shots that you can potentially make down below. Now, that's not a whole lot. Like we're looking at Godzilla. When I went through and reviewed that, I think Godzilla had like 13 or 14 different shots. So Keith was able to pack in a whole lot more different options. We do have an upper playfield though. So upper playfield, let's be fair, let's count those out. So we've got Bash Toys 1 shot. We've got the 2 different directions to kind of go around this little horseshoe up here. They're using lots of horseshoes. And then we've got 1, 2, 3 different alley shots supposed to make over here. Plus then there's kind of this more like unintentional ricochet shot right here. I don't really count those ones when I'm counting shots, but I'll say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so there's another 6 shots up top, so 9 plus 6 is 15. All right, we're getting there. It's a reasonable number of shots. Though, you know, most of these up here, the other 5 of them, or the other 6 here, are going to be limited only when you qualify the upper playfield and are doing things up there, and they're all much more, you know, kind of simple shots. But they are shots. All right, so we got, you know, between, we'll call it a dozen real shots. I don't know, 15 shots. I mean, that's a lot. There's a lot going on here. All right, so the last thing we need to go over now, we've looked at it. It's freaking gorgeous. This machine is just gorgeous. I love the artwork. I think it's like the right perfect green for it. It all fits the theme. The playfield is really, really good. It's like most gorgeous pinball machine ever. No, but I would be super pleased to have this in my lineup in my personal collection. I think it could do really well on location. I'm a small-time operator. I've got about a dozen machines out on location. I've never had a spooky machine out on location before. I feel like they've been out long enough now and kind of stood the test of time. I don't think I'm nervous to put one on location. I know a number of other people have put them on location, and they've been holding up, I think, well from what I've heard. The price point is kind of where it gets me here. So we've got 3 versions. We have a collector's edition, a bloodsucker edition, and a standard edition. They're making a total of 1,969 units. I'm assuming that's a callback to when the show first came out. I heard it came out in the 60s. Again, I'm not a huge Scooby Doo like trivia guy. I really enjoy the show though. This machine looks gorgeous. So kudos to Spooky. They're slowly increasing, right? I think this is the biggest run they've ever done. I think with Halloween Ultraman they did like 1,750 or something like that, right? So they're slowly creeping things up, but they're not like going gangbusters crazy. So I think that's smart. Their pricing aligns with that. Everything ends in a 69. So the collector's edition is $97.69, so basically $9,800. The Bloodsucker edition, $87.69 or $8,800. The standard edition, $76.69. Now this is interesting. If you look at what's included, I'll throw it up here on the screen. So for collector's edition, you get all of this. And for Bloodsucker edition, you get all of this. For the standard edition, you get this. Not very much. And what I didn't catch the first time through, notably here, standard edition, flat black powder coat. Okay, it does not mention the 5 metallic flake habit trails that the other 2 versions have. So you're just going to have like chrome stainless steel habit trails, probably. Definitely aren't going to have the fun armor. Understandable. Mystery Machine cabinet art. This is what stuck out to me. Okay, cabinet art. What? Bloodsucker edition and collector's edition, they have. Well, sorry, Bloodsucker edition has that also, but the collector's edition, the one we've been looking at here on the outside, it says custom art package by Matt Frank and Jeff Zornow. Where the other ones just say Mystery Machine cabinet art. I'm very curious what that other cabinet art looks like. I want to know. I want to see all the others. We'll see it on Friday when everything gets revealed. By now, by the time I'm recording this, maybe it's up on Spooky's Facebook page. Maybe you guys have already seen it. I haven't seen it yet. The custom art package looks really great. For me, it's just like $9,800 to get this. I would love to have this either in my collection or en route. $9,800 is too much for me as a operator. I mean, $7,000 Stern Pros are getting a little tight with where the economy's at. Things are slowing down a little bit on my route, and so it's like, I have to really think hard about that. So this is not like a must-have theme for me personally to add in my personal collection. I've got limited space. I've only got room for about 6 or 7 pinball machines in my basement, and I'm maxed out currently with projects. So I'm not planning on getting this myself picked up right away. I'm curious. Are you guys? Put it down in the comments. Are you going to be going in Friday morning? Are you lining up and you're putting down cash? You're going to be reserving these. Which edition are you going to get? You're going to get the collectors or the bloodsucker? They're pretty close, other than some of the cosmetic things. Playfield and mechanical toys, everything else are identical across all three. It's really going to be which art package you want the most, right? And like the lit up speaker panels and some other things like that, right? So I'm curious which one. Are you going to get it? Are you rushing right in? Are you going to wait until you see all the different versions? Are you going to wait till you play it on location? For me, I've only ever bought one pinball machine, sight unseen. That was Godzilla Premium. And I already said, I think, it's kind of like an unfair comparison here. Godzilla, in my opinion, is probably like one of the best of all time. For me, it's up there for sure in my top 5. It's probably right now it is my current favorite machine. We'll see how it stands the test of time, but so far I love it. I got one for myself and one for my route, and the route's loving it also, the Pro Edition even. So, but $9,800. Yeah, like I said, I've never bought another machine without playing it first. And this one I really feel is going to come down to the code. Like we look at the shots and everything it basically has a fan layout. They don't necessarily work like a fan layout. Not all the shots are looping and coming right back around to you pretty quick. So the flow, there's flow. You got ramp shots that come back around to have a trail to your flipper. You got orbits that are like these mini orbits that will loop back around pretty quick. You've got a ramp to the upper playfield that might just come back down. I feel like there's a decent amount of flow here. We'll have to see what the code does as far as for stopping and trapping and holding balls. But, I mean, the ramps, the mystery machine, ball lock, that's going to be kind of an interruption. The ball locks come down the apron. That's really cool. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't do a whole lot. It's like you hold the ball, it kicks it back on the playfield. That's really fun and innovative, and I love it. It's probably one of my favorite parts of this machine because it's so different. But at the end of the day, it doesn't do anything super crazy unique with the actual gameplay itself. So I feel like it's kind of a safe layout. Tried and true. They're good shots. It looks like it's going to be way more predictable, so I think it's going to be a fun shooter. But without the code to really pull you in, they are pretty just like, it's a ramp, it's a quick loop, it's a quick loop, it's another ramp, it's a buck, some drop targets. I don't feel like there's a whole lot just mechanically by itself that makes it super intriguing or interesting to play. Fun, don't get me wrong, it's going to be fun. I think I've seen way more obtuse and not fun layouts, well, by far, many. And this one looks like it's a good solid layout, but I really do think it's going to come down to that game code. And if there's Spooky DJ, I don't know who he is, but I'm hoping he comes out with some solid code that when we sit down and play and see how the modes go together and the objectives and like risk-reward type of elements, I mean, that can really change a game, as we all know, right? So I'm excited to get a chance to actually play it on location. I don't think it's going to be through one of my locations. All right, so there you go. I can't wait to see what else goes on. I'm interested to see what else we learn about this. I'm interested to get more videos showing more gameplay, giving us more clues about how this game actually works. Put it down in the comments whether you're planning on getting in and buying one or not. I'd be curious to see what you guys are doing. Other than that, I'll throw a quick little cross promotion for the rest of my videos. Primarily, if you've been following my channel, I'm mostly just documenting my own homebrew, custom build. I'm doing my first one, a Led Zeppelin themed pinball machine. So if you haven't been following that, I encourage you to take a jump over there and take a look and follow along as my progress. I've been working on that for a couple years now. It's getting close. I'm going to be at TPF. I am out in Utah. It's like a pinball black hole. I don't really know anybody in the pinball world community. I listen to Kaneda, I watch Kerry Hardy, I watch Zach and Dennis and Greg and listen to them, and Scott. I do get Scott and Josh out here from Loser Kids. That's like my only brush with pinball fame. Those guys are great. But I'm excited to go to TPF and get to know more people and just hang out and chat, and hopefully my machine will be in a state where everybody can come by and play it. That's what I'm most looking forward to, and hope you guys will enjoy it when it gets there. So we'll see. But anyway, other than that, enjoy the rest of your day, guys. It's been great. Thanks for listening and watching, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.